withdraw money from the account. The EIN number is your organization's equivalent to your own Social Security number. Without a 501c EIN number, you are not a recognized tax-exempt nonprofit organization. The bank uses the EIN to report things like interest payments to the IRS. If your predecessor did not give you this number, you may be able to get it from the bank, but you can get it from the IRS. If your organization does not have an EIN, you really need to get one. For this procedure, I refer you to the document written by recently retired Federation financial advisor, Kay Mahan, titled Tax Procedures for Square Dance Organizations, and Doug referred to this document earlier too. This document is available to you on the Federation website under the M&I tab. As treasurer, you are what the IRS calls principal officer. And you're entrusted with the keeping of the EIN number. So whenever you change officers, make sure that this principal officer name gets updated. In order to do business in the state of Washington, you need a UBI number. If your club doesn't have one, you need to get one. And for this process, I refer you again to the document I mentioned earlier, the tax procedures for square dance organizations. As treasurer, you are what the state calls registered agent. And this contact needs to be updated whenever the treasurer, a new treasurer is elected. To keep these numbers active, you need to file annual reports to the IRS and the Washington Secretary of State. Unless your organization annual income exceeds $50,000, anybody do that here? You can use Form 990N to update or keep your EIN active. As tax return forms go, 990N is relatively easy, it's relatively painless. It's an electronic postcard, and you simply provide the year for which you're filing, the name of your organization, its EIN number. Check this little box up here that says your income's under 50K. You file it. That's all there is to it. There's, on the IRS website, there's a very helpful user guide for Form 990N, and it's, I'll give you the web address a little later. If you pay your caller or queuer more than $600 a year, which I'm assuming most of you do, you also need to file, you also need to file 1099 miscellaneous. Okay, in order to file 1099 miscellaneous, you, this assumes that your caller and viewer are under contract to you and not an paid employee. And you really need to contract with them to avoid having to withhold taxes, you know, withhold income tax and workman's compensation and social security and all of that stuff. That being said, Form 1099 miscellaneous then becomes a simple task of filling in the payee information, the recipient information, and checking box 7, which is non-employment compensation. And the amount that you pay the caller or viewer would go in that box. And then you need to send this form to both the IRS and the recipient. Each year, the Washington Secretary of State notifies all organizations with a UBI number, reminding them to file their annual report. This notification is mailed to whomever the Secretary of State has on record as the registered agent. This is why it is so important to update the contact information when a new treasurer is elected. The back half of the annual report form is used to update the registered agent. And you should fill this out as soon as a new treasurer is elected. Don't wait until the annual report, don't wait until it's time to file the annual report. Otherwise, the renewal notice will be mailed to the wrong person and may never get to the right person, namely you. The front half of the form is used to keep your UBI number active. And there's a few things on this form that might be a little confusing. The first thing they ask for is the name of a principal officer, or the address of your principal office. Most square dance clubs don't have a principal office. So there's a couple of things you can do here. You could you need to provide this address, it's required. So as a club, you can enter the address of the place where you regularly dance. Or if you don't have a regular dance place like councils and things like that, you can use the address of the registered agent. What the SOS annual report form calls governors, which is down here, we call officers. They have a lot of names here, but you don't need that many. You can enter as many names as you like, but the names of your president, vice president, and secretary will suffice. Under nature of business, which is down here, use the same wording that you use to get your EIN number from the IRS. When this form is all filled out, then you file it along with a check for $10 made out to the Secretary of State. Now we come to the forms that new treasurers just can't seem to wrap their heads around. And the problem is that the term club membership has two meanings. Most people would define club membership as the people the individual dancers that belong to your club. And Of course, this is true, but the club itself is an entity also. You and your fellow officers are its eyes, ears, and voice. And like individual people, the club can pay dues and belong to other organizations such as the council or the state federation. So when the M&I chairman and your council treasurer ask club treasurers for their club membership, confusion reigns because they are talking about two different forms. As Richard pointed out previously, this is the club membership form, renewal form, and this comes from the council treasurer is asking you to fill this form out. The form asks for the names of your Anyway, the form asks for the names of your current officers. Thank you. Here. And a little information about your club. And the information you put on this form is used to print the state directories. The annual membership dues for the federation are $5, and your club bylaws may also stipulate that, your council bylaws may also stipulate that clubs that belong to the council have to pay council dues. And that can be either a fixed amount or an amount determined by the number of members in your club. This form, along with a check for both the federation and council dues made out to your council, is then to be sent to your council treasurer. The council treasurer is then responsible for forwarding copies of this form and the federation dues to the M&I chairman. This is the form that the M&I chairman sends to the club treasurers every year. The fees associated with this form provide federation members and insurance coverage to the individual members of your club. You need to fill out the form, pay $6 per person, and send it back directly to the M&I chairman, along with the list of your individual dancers that comprise your club. You need to keep the M&I chairman appraised of all changes to this list, like new members or students. So please make sure that the information you put on all of these forms is legible. Typed forms are much preferred to handwritten forms. Here are some of the URLs, or URL web addresses that you need to do your job. First off, you go to the IRS website, and if you click on the Forms and Insurance, or Forms and Instructions tab, you can get access. You then search for Form 1099 Miscellaneous. And then you get all the information associated with that form. The second URL is also the IRS website, that you go to this particular link and you get the what I referred to earlier as the user guide to Form 990N. And you use the Secretary of State URLs to update your registered agent and to file your annual report. The document that we keep referring to as the tax procedures for your square dance organization is under the Federation webpage under the M&I tab. If you signed up to receive a copy of the seminar booklet, you'll get a copy of this slide. If not, I have a few copies up here for people that would, so you don't have to write them all down. I do have a few copies up here, anybody that's interested. And I also have a sign-up sheet up here for anyone that would like me to email them a copy of this presentation. Are there any questions?